Once upon a time, in a small peaceful village surrounded by lush green fields, there lived a kind-hearted farmer who made his living by working the land. He owned a donkey, a faithful companion that had been with him for many years. In the past, the donkey was his diligent right hand, helping him pull carts, carry loads, and perform heavy tasks. Over time, however, the donkey grew old and weak, no longer as agile or strong as it once was. Seeing this, the farmer no longer made it work. Instead, he let it spend its final days leisurely, freely grazing on the green fields outside the village. One sunny day, while the donkey was engrossed in grazing, it accidentally missed a step and fell straight into a deep, narrow, dry well. Shocked and in pain, it let out heart-wrenching cries that echoed throughout the area, full of panic and despair. Its cries for help lasted for nearly an hour until a passing neighbor heard them. Curious and concerned, the neighbor hurried to the well, looked down, and was horrified to see the donkey trembling at the bottom, tears welling in its eyes. He immediately ran back to the village to inform the farmer. The farmer was alarmed and rushed to the well. He quickly called several neighbors for help. The group gathered around the well, trying everything to pull the donkey out. They tried tying ropes and setting up a makeshift bridge, but the well was too deep and narrow, and the donkey was too heavy. All efforts failed. As the sun leaned toward the horizon, hope of saving the donkey grew fainter and fainter. At that moment, the farmer made a heartbreaking decision. Looking at the poor old donkey, he thought, "It's too old and weak. Even if I could pull it up, it wouldn't be able to work anymore. Perhaps it's time for it to go." With that thought, he told his neighbors to start filling the well with dirt. He wanted to end the animal's suffering and, at the same time, bury the abandoned well to prevent future accidents. The neighbors, though reluctant, nodded in agreement. They began shoveling the first loads of dirt into the well. At first, the donkey cried even louder, realizing the cruel fate that awaited it. But then, something miraculous happened. After the first few shovelfuls of dirt, the donkey suddenly stopped crying. It began to shake its body vigorously, letting the dirt slide off its back to the ground beneath its feet. With each layer of dirt that fell, it raised itself a little higher. Little by little, every shovelful of dirt that was meant to bury the donkey instead became a step that lifted it upward. The farmer and the neighbors noticed the strange silence and curiously looked down. They were astonished to see the donkey calmly stepping on the new layers of soil, its eyes no longer filled with despair but with determination to survive. What was meant to bury it had instead become its path to freedom. When the last shovelful of dirt fell, the donkey reached the top, stretched its body, and leapt out of the well. It breathed in the fresh air of freedom, lifted its head high, and trotted back toward the fields, leaving behind those who had already given up on it. The story became a profound lesson for the farmer and everyone who witnessed it. Life's hardships and adversities are often like those shovelfuls of dirt. If we give in to despair and give up, they will bury us. But if we choose to rise, to turn challenges into opportunities, those very adversities will lift us higher. Life is always full of difficulties, challenges, and situations that seem impossible to overcome. The story of the old donkey falling into the well is not just an ordinary tale. It carries many valuable lessons about perseverance, resilience, self-belief, and how we face adversity. The first and most important lesson is to turn difficulties into opportunities for growth. When the first shovels of dirt fell on its back, the donkey seemed doomed to be buried in despair. If it had just stood still, cried, and accepted its fate, it would have been buried alive in that cold well. Instead of surrendering, the donkey took a different approach. It shook off the dirt and used each layer as a step to rise higher. This image is a powerful metaphor for how we can turn life's burdens or problems into leverage for development. In real life, there are moments when we feel like we've been thrown into a deep well, failing at work, being doubted or underestimated, or facing betrayal. The shovels of dirt that life throws at us can be criticism, financial obstacles, or sudden misfortunes. If we only complain and stop moving, we will be buried in our own despair. But if we learn to shake off the dirt, to transform hardships into motivation, to learn from failures and move forward, then every challenge becomes a stepping stone to success. The next lesson is the power of perseverance and the spirit of never giving up. The donkey did not sit still waiting for death, nor did it rely on others when hope was almost gone. It chose to act, step by step. That perseverance created a miracle. The donkey escaped the well and reclaimed its freedom. In reality, success rarely comes immediately. It is the result of persistent effort and continuous action, even when everything seems hopeless. Many people in life have felt like that donkey, abandoned, underestimated, or facing challenges beyond their capacity. At such moments, determination and self-belief become the key. The farmer saw the donkey as useless, but it proved its worth through action. In life, there will be times when others cannot see our true potential or even doubt and abandon us. But our value should never depend on others' judgment. As long as we keep believing and striving to rise, we affirm our own worth. Finally, the story reminds us of the responsibility to save ourselves and the power of positive thinking. When the first shovels of dirt fell, the donkey could have seen it as the end. But the moment it changed its perspective, from fear to motivation, everything changed. In real life, there are times when no one can save us but ourselves. If we only complain and depend on others, life will bury us. But when we take the initiative to change our fate, we not only survive but also discover freedom and a new life. In conclusion, the story of the donkey and the well is a profound life message. When life throws at us the shovels of dirt of failure, pain, or betrayal, remember the image of the brave old donkey. Shake off the dust of despair, turn difficulties into steps, and rise step by step. With perseverance, self-belief, a positive mindset, and the spirit of self-reliance, each of us can escape our own well and step into a stronger and freer life.